What's up, IG? Got fluff or some shit on my hat. What's up, yo? Your man, MLNY, Maloney. About to go live with Dustin Wareham, some Turono Talks shit. Hey, there he is right there. Quick on the draw. You my man? My man.
Yeah. What's poppin'? What's good, bro?
How you doing, brother?
I'm all right, man. How you doing?
Can't complain, man. Another day in, I guess, paradise. Call it that.
Okay. I hear that.
How you
One second. I'm good. I'm trying to see if I'm getting into my headphones or not.
You trying to?
Yeah.
There
you go. Yeah. I was having some audio issues. I heard some guy yelling in the background of you.
Turn me up in the motherfucking headphones.
Yeah. There you go. That's what's up. So what's poppin'? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm real good. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. All things considered, you know what I mean? I'm alive. I'm here.
You need Guru to turn the bass up a little bit. Let it bump, though.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, just a little.
The flutes, the whole nine, man.
Need a little bit
Get
of
the flutes going.
Man.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm so cheesed.
So what's new with you guys, man?
So cheesed I dropped the ball on our last conversation, man.
Oh, you didn't record it.
Yeah, that shit was fire, man.
Yeah.
It was a fucking conversation.
It was a good convo, man. I liked it.
Fuck.
I don't know what happened. I don't know how you dropped the ball on that one, bro, but
because I went upstairs and was doing shit after, and then fucking the next day I was at work. And then it was just one of those days, and then like by the time I got home, I think I came home and napped because I was tired as shit. And then, you know, one thing led to another. Next thing you know, it's like fucking like 8 at night or whatever time. I'm like, oh, I didn't record the live stream. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. One of those ones.
You know what, though? This whole thing, you know, like doing live streams and shit, takes a little bit of adapting. You know what I mean? Like, like our conversation was one ball I dropped. The second interview I did, second quarantine interview I ever did, I dropped that ball. How'd that one fuck up? It fucked up in the recording process or something, but I lost that one. And then the one I did Ja Rule's son a few days ago. What day was it?
Yeah.
Tuesday. And he hits me before we do it, and he's like, so am I just going to go live and you're going to request to join? And I'm like, well, I was going to do it the other way. I was like, but if you want to do it that way, we can. So it was cool. So we did the interview, dope interview. Fucking Kenneth Supreme McGriff, he fucking commented on it while we were live. He's like, great interview.
Dope.
Yeah. Yo, that's wild. Fucking Kenneth Supreme has seen me.
Yeah. You don't want that interview with 50, bro. You don't want that G-Unit interview.
But the interview was fucking, I thought it was dope, man. It went really well. And so then I went downstairs to have a smoke after. So I had my cell phone upstairs recording it. And then I came back upstairs, my phone ran out of space. So I had to delete a few things. Then by the time I went back to record the live stream, it was gone. And the guy deleted it. And I'm like, man, why would you delete it already? I'm like, I'm not going to record this shit yet. So
is his son rapping? Ja Rule's son's a rapper?
Yeah,
what's going on here?
Yeah.
Okay. How old is he, like 16?
He's younger. I don't know if he's like 16. I think he's like probably like 19 or something like that. But he is younger.
Okay.
Like, definitely, like, he was a bit younger. You can tell, like, I don't think he had ever been interviewed before. Like, you can tell, like, the answers are kind of short. But I did really good at maneuvering through it. You know what I mean? Like I was I was on my game.
Props. That's dope, man. That's dope. Good shit. Yeah, I see you out here, man. You're on your grind. I see, like, every day you got an interview with somebody going on, you know, throwing them up on the YouTube. Because I'm subscribed to the channel. You know, if you're not subscribed to Maloney's channel, subscribe to that channel. And, yeah, man, I see the interviews getting posted up every day, bro. Breaking Wreckords. That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, how's everything else otherwise, though, man? How's the health? How's the fam?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Girl's good, you know.
Dope.
Everyone's healthy. My pops is
Proper.
working right now because he's essential worker because he works fucking he works in like a wholesale place, so like they sell food and
Yeah.
shit. So he's got to work right now, so like I'm not overly enthused about that. But
Yeah.
your girl's working, right? So you know how that is.
Yeah. Exactly. She's a nurse. She's working. It's all types of crazy and but yeah, man, it's fucking weird times, bro.
Can't
Definitely
they do
weird times.
can't they do something about that though with like her, being I dropped the ball
Nah.
time and said something that I wasn't supposed to.
Oh,
So
it's all good.
no shot.
It's all good. It's all good. Nah, not really yet. We'll see what happens, you know what I mean? See how long this lasts and whatnot. But yeah, just is what it is, you know what I mean, under the circumstances.
Shit's fucking crazy, man. But I heard today,
It's wild.
as much as I would love to fucking try to replicate our conversation we had last time because it was so dope, it just as well
Yeah.
as I do, it's impossible to fucking replicate something.
Yeah, it's hard to, mimic it, copy it. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. I'm sure we'll get into the shits, in a few moments.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But did you see that today they're saying well, I don't know where they said it or exactly. I know my girl's work they relayed the message to her, but
Hmm.
the curve is actually like it's kind of flattened out right now.
Hmm.
So like
Yeah, they're doing well with it right now at the moment, right?
yeah,
And that's what they want. They want it to be, what I mean, somewhat, flat like it is so that they can deal with the people. But I mean, if you look at the senior homes or the long care homes, like they're getting slaughtered right now. I shouldn't even use that word. That's such a horrible word to use, but they're getting hit really, really hard, right?
yeah,
And they just don't want to, they don't want to increase to that because, they're still low on all their equipment. It's not like they have all the appropriate amounts of equipment or whatnot to deal with the situation. So they want it like this because they know, people are going to come in and an influx of too many people just overburdens shit and it makes shit impossible to deal with.
yeah. Well, and I heard too, yeah, that there's been like some crazy shit going on in the senior homes, like that, like fucking like 30% of like a large portion of them, like people have been dying
Yeah,
because like
I think
what do you call them? One of my ex girlfriends was one. What do you call them? Like the nurses that work there.
PSWs.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, I always want to say SJW.
Now PSWs. Yeah, the
That's
personal support workers.
yeah, but they have like because they're not a lot of times they're stationed at one location, right? They go
Yeah,
multiple places. Like even my ex girlfriend
for
used
sure.
to work at different homes, sometimes 3 a week. So like
Hmm.
yeah, like that's like I don't know, just like I feel like that should have been like well regulated way better than that prior to this.
Hmm.
Like someone
Well, I mean, there's that, right? But the problem is a lot of these people are just temp staff, and that's just how, based on how employment's gone, in our country over the last 10, 15 years, where it became easier to have temp staff, you know what I mean, rather than have full-time staff and give them all the benefits. And then you
yeah,
also have to figure a lot of these people have to go to appointments, you know what I mean? So they have to go out, they have to go to doctor's appointments, they have to go for surgeries and different things like that, then come back. Then there's family members and there's other
yeah,
staff that work there. So just a lot of stuff. The same thing we're seeing with like prisons, right? How's it getting to inmates inside of the prisons? Well, it's the same thing. People, staff are in and out and, different employees and the workers and visitors and so that's just what's up. But yeah, with them too, and I think because they're the ones who are the most susceptible to that stuff, that's why we're seeing a lot of that because they're the elder. Those are the ones that we're protecting by not going out, right? Is those people. So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
horrible.
yeah. And you're right. And you know what? I hope that that's a lesson that we take from this. Is
Hmm.
capitalism needs to fix up a little bit. You know what I mean? If we're gonna live in countries that are so-called democratic, then there needs to be a little bit of fucking fix up here. And the way these fucking corporations are treating people, like I've been a heavy advocate for not believing in all this fucking part-time bullshit they do. You know what I mean? It's very hard to
Hmm.
find fucking jobs nowadays where you can even get salary. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
like myself, like when I moved to Toronto for fucking 5 years, I had to work 2, 3 fucking jobs. You know what I mean? Just to fucking
Yeah.
have extra money aside from money for rent and groceries. You know what I mean? Like when we first
Yeah.
met, I was fucking scraping. You know what I mean? Like I fucking, you know, I had just enough money to like smoke a little bit of weed every day. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
like
Just
groceries.
get by and
Yeah, and that was it.
yeah,
Right. You know what I
not
mean?
able to save or anything yet.
And that was
Yeah, absolutely.
like, and that was one job. And then, you know, you work two jobs and then you're like, okay, now I can go out once a night, like once a week and like hang out with people or drink or something. You know what I mean? And then when you work three,
Hmm.
like, wow, I feel like a normal person in
Normal
society. You know
person.
what I mean? Working fucking 65 hours a week. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
fucking, it's insane.
making actual money and
Yeah.
yeah, no, for sure, man. There's so many lessons that we should take away from this, and so many people are like asking to go right back to normal life, and it's like, we don't we go right back to normal. We're going to be in the same problem. We're
Yeah.
in this problem because of a lot of greed and certain things, and it's just interesting to see the people who are so quick to say, yo, we need to get this over with and go right back to what we had, versus some other people are like, yo, we need to change, and people who are actually learning lessons from this. But a change is going to cost a lot of money, and it's going to change things a lot financially for the people who are in the higher positions. For us, it's either going to get more expensive for goods in the long run or cheaper right away, because a lot of people are just going to have to sell off a lot of inventory. But in the long run, if we really want change, then we can make more money, but things might cost more money to actually buy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see the change.
The thing is with that though, you know what I mean? Like that's the bullshit they sell us, but it's not necessarily true, man. You know what I mean? Like if Galen Weston can fucking as CEO of fucking Loblaws can pocket like fucking $20 billion for a fucking bonus a year, like get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Tell me you can't take home 10 and distribute the 10 amongst your other fucking what, like 500,000 employees across the country. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's like, yeah, things will change because people are greedy. You know what I mean? People at the top are greedy. And, you know, maybe it will start costing us more and shit. But that doesn't need to happen. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the
yeah,
thing that pisses me off. It's like the whole, like, you know, minimum wage argument when they were putting up the minimum wage and, you know, people, you know, they were all bitter about it and shit. And it's like, well, fuck. Like, you know, I was someone who worked minimum wage at the time. So I was all for the
yeah,
fight for the minimum wage because I understood it. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's easy for some fucking, you know, cushion, comfortable person who got lucky to get a salary job, or yeah, maybe you did learn a trade, or maybe you did go to school. But guess what? You know what I mean? Fucking good for you. Just because you did that doesn't mean that the person who didn't have that luxury, you know, maybe wasn't intelligent enough, or maybe didn't fucking have the drive, or maybe didn't have the money to go to school and get a post-secondary education. Why should they fucking suffer and fucking starve? Because, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And you know that happened, and you know, to be honest, yeah, I noticed like a raise in some things. You know, like Tim Hortons coffee went up 5 cents 3 times in a matter of like 6 months. You know what I mean? And shit like that. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day, did it really fuck up our pockets? Like I you know, I'm life went on just as normal as it ever did for me. You know what I mean? I wasn't noticing an
yeah,
extra financial burden by giving people money that they deserve.
yeah. No, definitely. So it will be interesting to see what happens after this. If people start to treat people who work at grocery stores and some of these fast food places that are still open, if they start to treat them better and, ask for them to get higher wages after this, nurses and PSW workers, like I was saying even to my girl earlier, I was like, yo, the government, when this is done, should totally wipe out any OSAP debt that any nurses or any of these
Back,
PSW workers or doctors
back,
have. Just throw it out. You're a doctor, you were an essential worker during this, OSAP debt gone.
back.
Like let them get to a running start after this with the economy, because they're the ones putting their life on the line. And I think there's going to be probably a lot of that. I could see a lot of that happening, because we're going to have to accumulate what's called good debt when it's all said and done, as opposed to bad debt, because if you have lingering debt when you come out of this, you can't spend money on anything, right? So if
Yeah.
they're like, okay, we'll forgive a lot of debt, people can go out and spend money on new stuff to kind of get jobs rolling again.
Yeah, and get the economy moving again.
Hmm.
Well, that's the
But I
thing.
definitely think,
That's the thing,
oh,
man.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going on your point, but no, yeah, man, that's the thing. Like, you know, and I think it's a strong lesson in capitalism because, you know, like to say like, you know, what we were saying before, but it's like, you know, I think, you know, some of these capitalists at the top of the fucking totem pole got to fix up. You know what I mean? Like, because if we weren't treating our PSWs like such fucking shit, if we weren't treating, you know what I mean? Like the crazy shit is the people who are the frontline workers are all the people who work jobs that they get fucking shit on by society and get shit on by capitalism. You know what I mean? It's all the people with the comfortable, cushy jobs who are working from home or fucking, you know what I mean, just off and paid because they're on salary. You know what I mean? It's the fucking it's the people who are out working in the fucking grocery stores right now who are getting minimum wage. You know what I mean? It's like, how the fuck are the essential people getting treated like absolute fucking shit? You know what I mean? And then now we expect people to be there to fucking stand on the front lines for us right now. You know what I mean? Like, nah, man. Capitalism got to fix up. We got to stop doing this shit. I expect Galen Weston, after this epidemic's over, to apply at least 5 extra full-time job positions in each store across Canada. You know what I mean? If he can't do that,
that would be dope.
A little bit, then that's trash, man. When in the 70s, you could start as a fucking bag boy in a grocery store, and you could be the manager of that grocery store one day. You know what I mean? That shit won't happen no more, bro.
For sure. For sure. In the 70s, you could go to work in the summertime and pay for your entire like college or university education that was going to come up that next year, pretty much with what you made in that summer, and probably have a vehicle for yourself.
And our great back then. That's the other thing. And like, people look at why is there such a gap between, you know what I mean, the rich and the poor and all this other shit. It's not because our economy's falling apart. It's because the people at the top fucking figured out a way to weasel laws and weasel things in their favor. So they don't have to pay taxes and all this other nonsense and bullshit. And so they can take home fucking whatever percentage of fucking profits as the CEO for a fucking bonus along everybody else down the fucking totem pole who makes decisions and basically cushions their job to do what they do. You know what I mean? It's a fucking bullshit, man. And you know,
well, absolutely. That's why I said earlier on Facebook, don't be so quick to sacrifice your body to the altar of commerce. All these people who are running out saying, yo, we need to get the economy up and started, you know, so what if X amount of people die? No, that actually matters. You know what I mean? And right now, if we don't change the way we deal with the economy and start making it a little bit more people friendly, then like I said, we're just offering up bodies to the altar of commerce. And, you know, it doesn't matter if these people are Christian, Muslim, you know, Jewish, whatever. It's like the real religion is money. You know what I mean? The real religion to some of these people is just being able to go out and get whatever they want, whenever they want. And what they don't even realize is with that privilege and with that ability, so many people in the world are being enslaved because of that. So many people in the world literally have shit dick squat, and maybe 5 to 10% of the planet has the ability to say, hey, I want things to go back to the way they were. Well, things going back to the way they were doesn't just necessarily mean you can go to the store and get what you want. It means all those people over there are putting their life at risk and possibly dying too to make those same goods that are in the stores that we're getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's more than just, you know, oh, I want to go out and go to the pub and get this beer, or I want to go out and go be able to buy this, that, or whatever. You have to think about where a lot of this stuff is manufactured and how it's made. And, you know what I mean? It's just, it's way bigger than all that. And I just see a lot of people really quick to offer up their body to the altar of commerce, as I said earlier. And I don't think they're realizing that that's what they're doing, you know?
No, that's a fact. And like what you know, it's like the fucking Apple phone I'm recording on right now. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever seen like some of the, like, you know, some of the contracts that fucking Apple has to get the goods that, like, you know, the materials that it uses? It's like the fucking,
the cobalt and
like what is it? Is it like the tin that they use in parts of the cell phones? It's like there's a fucking, I can't even remember what country it is, but it's some, like, you know, third world country where, you know, people ain't got fucking squat, and they contract people. They don't contract them. They contract the company, which this company takes basically like freelance tin from just regular people, right? But the means in which these people acquire this is absolutely insane. Because what they have is they have old fucking tin mines, you know what I mean, that are like basically they're ruins now, right? And they've been abandoned because they, you know, they've basically used up all the resources. So they're just big fucking piles of fucking sand with fucking massive holes underneath them and shit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Craters in the ground. And you got fucking, you know, poor people using fucking like hoses with waters, spraying them with their fucking 2-year-old kids standing beside them because there's no one to watch their kid. So the kid's out there fucking 2-3 years old working with these fucking people. They're spraying fucking hoses like piles of sand, and like it's like the amount of people that die on a daily basis doing this shit, trying to acquire just these little bits of fucking tin at the end of the day to go take to this company that contracted to Apple, and for fucking pence on the fucking, you know what I mean? It's like, whoa, you know, like, and that's the shit. Like, it's like, we're not even just like, how'd you word it? Giving up your body to the power of commerce.
Yeah, offering up our bodies to the altar of commerce.
Yeah. And it's when we do that, it's not just us. We're that's like you said, it's a global infection. You know what I mean?
Thing, for sure. For sure. Yeah, it's cobalt that they're mining, and cobalt is in every modern day piece of technology that we have now. It used to be like a junk metal that nobody cared about, and it's turning out that cobalt is now like one of the most precious metals in the world, just as far as what it could do for our electronics, like all these smartphones and cars and everything. It uses it because I guess it works well with electricity or whatever we have now, or technology, right? So it's cobalt that they're mining, but man, people don't think about that, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of that going on, and, you know, it'll just be really, really interesting to see how long this lasts and how deep it goes. And you know, as far as just, like I said, people wanting their things, what it's also showing is that, you know, a month into it, we're kind of pulling the curtain back on democracy, or not democracy, capitalism, you know what I mean? We're pulling the curtain back and exposing that, in a sense, it is a lie, because once you go a month without being paid, we're really no better off than people in the third world. You know what I mean? People are in the same positions. They're very close to being, you know, absolutely poor out on the street or whatnot. So I absolutely understand that side too, where it's like, yo, we need the economy to come back, but you need lives, and you know what I mean? It's yin and it's yang. It's so complicated and convoluted. Same thing with, you know, the whole situation of America and China. That's literally capitalism, and that's communism, and communism making the goods and capitalism's consuming them. So everything right now is just so yin and yang, but like the balance is totally fucking off, and so many levels, man.
No, it's a fact, man. And that's the sad part too. And it's like, you know, and that's why I say, man, like, capitalists got to fucking fix up after this shit. Because, you know, if we didn't let these motherfuckers get away with murder for so fucking long and underpay us and all this other shit, we'd be sitting off better. We'd be able to, you know, we'd be able to afford to take a month off work because we'd have fucking something called savings. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, like, how many people you know actually got a decent amount of money saved up? Not many. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And most of the ones that do are the fucking ex-hustlers turned fucking legal. You know what I mean? And that's just part of the fucking, you know what I mean? Like, you know, not many common, regular, everyday working people I know, like, have a whole lot as far as savings go. You know what I mean? And,
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
A lot of times that savings is for the retirement anyways. So
yeah.
Like, even in a situation like this, they're not really trying to dip into it. You know what I mean? But if capitalists weren't so fucking greedy, if these CEOs didn't have to pocket fucking billions of dollars in fucking bonuses, that money would be distributed a little bit more, people might actually have a little bit of a buffer to be able to afford to not work for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. And that begs the question of where we go when we come out of this, you know, and like I said earlier, we have to show a little more respect for people who even just work the grocery store. You know what I mean? Because you work in a grocery store and these people are out there busting their ass, putting their life on the line all day, you know, and you got to think about other people too, like mechanics and people who, you know, work in garbage men, you know what I mean? Just everyday tradesmen and whatnot that are still out there busting their ass, plumbers who still have to go out there and do their job and whatnot. These are people that typically society always kind of shits on, and media and Hollywood always kind of shits on. Yo, man, they're the people keeping society running right now. They're not the ones in the business suits who are in the office, right? They're the ones who have to go out into the real world and get shit done with their hands, accomplish those things, and use their skill. And here's a scary thing. If some of them are older and they pass away, they could be losing skills that we might not be able to replace, right?
Yeah.
What if we lose a couple 60-year-olds who know how to run our power plants, who haven't passed that knowledge on to a younger generation yet?
Yeah.
and they die. How do we keep that shit running, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Power grids, if you need to physically get them up and running as opposed to just the software, and only these older guys know how to do it. You know, so just certain things that, like, the older generation, these guys have skills, and we need to keep them around. We need to protect them, because if we lose some of those skills, we as a society could be lost too, right?
Yeah, that's a fact,
So,
man. It's scary, bro. You know, and it's like, I really hope we see a fucking change when this is all said and done, because, you know, if this isn't the catapult to cause people to realize the issues of capitalism, then I don't know what the fuck it will be. You know what I mean? I've been preaching fuck capitalism for fucking damn near 10 years. You know what I mean? And it's shit nobody wants to hear. People want to argue with you about it because they like buying their fucking Jordans and their fucking Air Force Ones and shit, which is cool. I like to buy ripping shit too, but that doesn't...
Guilty of it too, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you have to be full in support of fucking capitalism and everything that comes with it. You know what I mean? It's like everybody looks at things like, it kind of goes to our conversation early, like that we had before that we lost, but everybody looks at things like they're so fucking black and white when everything in the world has gray room in the middle. You know what I mean? Like you speak a perspective on things and people fucking fire back at you. Like, you know what I mean? From a complete opposite spectrum, like almost put fucking words in your mouth. You know what I mean? It's like, well, just because I live in a capitalist society and because I enjoy the fruits of this labor, basically, you know what I mean, does not mean that there aren't things that need to be changed. And there aren't things that are very toxic and poisonous about it in all aspects of life. You know what I mean? And the other thing,
absolutely,
what are you going to do? Go fucking live in a forest off the grid like the fucking Unabomber? Like, what do you, like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I just really hope it changes the perspectives that people really have looking at the economy and at society going on forward after this. You know what I mean? Like if I see someone, like, you know, when things go back to normal within the first week, if I see them all fucking on Facebook make a fucking post about how someone fucked up their sandwich at Tim Hortons and these overpaid idiots can't do their fucking job right, they should work for some shit, I swear to God, I'm going to that person's house and beating fucking brick. You know what I mean? Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, if
absolutely.
If come out of this, like, at least learning to look at society a little differently, then man, some people are just fucking doomed. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think what will happen, the first month we've kind of gone through it, and people are missing the things that, you know, we don't necessarily take for granted, but we're missing our just, you know, little sprinklings on the top in society. You called it the circus and bread or whatever, right? So sports, for example, right? We're missing our sports. We're missing our favorite restaurants. We're missing, you know, movies, right? But what happens is, as it goes on, people are going to stop taking some of the things that they take for granted, right? Yeah. They're going to miss, you know, other things, and they're going to realize, you know what, maybe those sports weren't as important to me as my family was. Yeah. Maybe those movies, those shoes weren't as important as, you know, my friends were, right? So priorities will change and spending habits will change, which in turn will kind of like change society. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. And, you know, I think, you know, I pray that fucking we do come out of here with a higher moral standard. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, man. I've just seen society time and time again prove its incompetence. You know what I mean? And yeah, you know, I would not be the slightest bit surprised if we came out of this and people ain't learned a goddamn fucking thing. Yeah. That's the scariest part, man. You know what I mean? Especially like someone bringing a kid into this world and shit. That's the scariest part to me, is that if something like this can't open fucking people's eyes, man, like this isn't even a world I want to fucking bring a new life into. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that fucking pathetic and sad. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. I don't know, man. I fucking hope fucking, you know, society can fucking fix up a little bit after this. Cause it's fucking, you know, things have been very pathetic for a long time, and a lot of times people don't like to hear that. But now you're seeing and how fucking ridiculous it is, and you're seeing the direct effects of it. And if you can't come out of this comprehending that, you still want to be ignorant to that fact, then fuck, man, like, just fucking die.
Nah, we don't want anybody to die. But no, I feel exactly what you're saying. And that's why, like, I'm really disappointed at a lot of these guys who are riding, you know, the tip about conspiracies or riding this whole tip on, you know, we need to get things right back to where it is, because it's like, bro, empathy. If you don't have empathy right now, you're not going to make it through this, because right now you're only thinking about what you lost. And you're thinking, you know, like, it's all a conspiracy against you, and not thinking, look, the entire world is going through this right now. It's bigger than us, and we need empathy, because if you don't, you're going to lose your shit. You're going to lose your mind, and, you know, nothing is going to change. We're going to come out of this, and we're going to go right back to all the things that we hate, right? As opposed to, you know what I'm saying, having empathy and growing as a people and being able to kind of, you know, change things afterwards, right? Because at the end of the day, like, you don't know when you're going to need help. You don't know when you're going to need someone to drop you off a couple of eggs or something on your porch, right? So just look out for the next person, you know what I mean? All this, like, you know, it's just me. I need to get back to going and playing golf. I need to get back to getting my hair cut or whatever. If that's all your mind is focused on, you're gonna be so frustrated through this that it's crazy.
If that's your mind state, man, you're fucking doomed. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be lying if I said there
Yeah.
are parts of me that get that feeling once in a while. Oh shit, raccoon, can you see him? No, we missed him. Damn.
Nah.
What was I saying though? Like, yeah, I'd be lying if I said there aren't parts of that. You know what I mean? Like I had all these rollout plans, like, you know, for my music and shit and videos and all this shit.
Yeah.
It's just been a massive setback. And a few times I tried to figure out ways around it, or ways I could plan around it, you know what I mean, to do it. And ultimately, at the end of it, my girl's like, I'm not comfortable with that. And then, you know, I get upset, and then fucking, you know, after like fucking a couple hours, it's like, you're right. You know what I mean? And it's like, so, you know, we're all to it in that sense. But the people that are like just so fucking bent on, you know what I mean, these things, like, you know, like, fucking, they have to go out and fucking golf, or that, like, you know what I mean, all this shit. It's like, yo, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, you know, life will go
it's not
on
important
without a golf. You know what I mean? Like, my life will go on without my rollout going as planned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to film music videos a few months later.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like I'm not really upset for them. I'm more upset for, like, the high school kids who are gonna, you know, it's supposed to be their prom year, their graduation, or, you know what I mean, the guys in high school who they needed this year to move on to university, or, you know, they might have had scholarships waiting. I'm more upset for those people than I am just the local dude who can't go and play golf or go and play basketball with his friends. You know, like, this is gonna really, really, you know, affect people in the long run, affect especially the youth in the long run, the longer this goes on, right? Yeah. So when I see people our age and they're acting already like this, it's like, bro, you need to toughen up, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if this is going to end next week or if it's going to end next year. And if you're already like this now, man, you're going to lose your shit in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So, you know, we need to be a little bit more patient. And I always say too, you know what I mean? Like, time goes by faster the older you are. Yeah. So these kids, this is like, some of them's going to be torture. It's going to feel like forever and a day.
Oh,
you
man.
Know what I mean? But
I was saying that to my girl the other day. I was like, man, would I hate to be in fucking high school? This shit was happening.
Right?
Yeah, I'd fucking losing my mind. I've learned to become a recluse in my 20s, but in my fucking teens, man, nah.
Yeah.
I would not be having this.
No, no doubt, right? You'd hate it, you know? And again, there's a lot you're missing out on life.
And I see a lot of younger people not taking this shit serious either. Like, you know, dudes I might have on my IG or my Facebook, you know, for one reason or another, might be like 19 or something. And they're like, you know, they're still like, you know, you click their story and it's like them and like 3 other like friends. Like, they're not out partying, but they're still with people gathering in someone's basement or something. And it's like, really? Like, you know what I mean? But I get at that age, you know, but
you feel invincible, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I understand it too. I understand the flex of the age, like you're saying, but yeah, you know, I think, and it's hard because, like you said earlier, you know, with us doing so well with this curve here in Canada, people are thinking like, oh, you know, well, if shit's good, then I could go out and live my life accordingly. But shit's good because of the measures people are taking. Exactly. So when they loosen up, people see like, oh, okay, maybe not, you know, maybe we need to go back to that So it's weird, man. It's unprecedented times. You know what I mean? It's stuff like when movies do come back, right? Or when somebody does write that next great novel or television show, and it's based on this, like we're just gonna be like, oh fuck yeah, we all went through that together. You know?
Yeah.
It's a weird time, man. It's that stuff that our grandkids are gonna read about in a history book and be like, hey, grandpa, you went through that? And like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, 2020, fuck, weird year, man. I can't even explain 2020. You know?
Yeah, yo, do you know what? And it's so trippy too, man, that it's 2020. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it is a trip.
Yeah.
And fucking, I want
No,
to
man.
post I found earlier because it kind of coincides with exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let me just find it. But someone made a post and they basically said like, you know, as soon as they like lift anything, people are gonna go back to living like nothing ever happened and we'll forget about this in fucking no time. And then people were commenting on
Yeah.
it they're like, nah, that's not gonna happen. They're like, this is like the biggest like shit that they're like, this is gonna resonate with us the rest of our lives, like 9/11. And I couldn't agree more and maybe even more so because at what time, like think about this, what time in human history,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm talking about global human history, you know what I mean? Because, you know, there's been different things that have devastated nations and shit, you know what I mean? Like even World War
Right,
II
right.
devastated a lot of the world. But at what time in history has there been a single period of time where the whole world is just kind of on fucking shutdown? Like, when has there been a time in history where every human on the planet damn near can relate to one another about something?
Probably the last Spanish flu or Great Depression.
But did everybody catch that? It only affected certain countries and shit, didn't it? Or did it spread the
Ooh.
whole globe?
I think the Spanish flu pretty much spread almost worldwide, or at least through Europe and North
Yeah.
America. But man, I don't know. Probably World War II. You know, something along those lines, World War II-ish, or
But it's like even
yeah,
World War II, you know what I mean? It's like
different times, different places, different days, and
well, the difference with it is the fact that it's like, you know, like if you lived in Nazi Germany, you know, when Hitler was reigning, like a couple of my friends' grandmas lived in Nazi Germany, and their view of Hitler is very different than ours. You know what I mean? Like
right,
they,
they're taught something different.
they think he was a good guy because he rebuilt their economy. You know what I mean? Like no, actually,
Yeah,
they're
and I
like
know what you mean. Yeah.
he was a great
That's the propaganda that was taught to them
yeah.
at that time, for sure.
Like that's what they believe, though. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
it's the same way like a Southern man from Alabama right now who's in his 90s has no problem dropping N-bombs
right.
because he doesn't
Man, you know
fucking
what?
know better and he's too ignorant to want to learn better.
Yeah, maybe September 11th in our lifetime, if not September 11th. I mean, definitely is probably one of those moments. To be honest with you, I don't know where you were when it happened, but I know where I was when he got elected. It was Obama's election. I remember seeing people all over the world celebrating when Obama got elected. You know, as opposed to like I've watched presidents get elected since the 80s. You know what I mean?
But
I never seen people celebrate the way they did when Obama was, and I think it was just right time, right place. The internet was in the right place, right time. So maybe his election is close as one of those moments. But other than that, yeah, like we're going through something, you know, planetary right now, right?
I honestly don't think something like this has ever really happened in human history where like everyone on Earth has been on the same page. Because even all the things you just named, like, you know, when 9/11, that was a ripple through us. You know, all North America
Right,
can relate to that. I'm sure people in the Middle East can too, because that meant, oh fuck, does this mean war? You know what I mean? Like
right.
people that directly affected are close too. But do you think people in China were like, oh my god, when fucking towers got hit? Like they're probably like, meh.
Yeah, some of them might not even have known. Maybe the World Cup.
Give a shit. You know what I mean? Like they're probably like, oh, that's,
Yeah,
but like it didn't hit them the way it hit us. I highly doubt it. You know what I mean?
yeah. Probably World Cup time, man. Like I like the World Cup because that's a time where like I mean it has more viewers than the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
So World Cup is probably like one of the closer times when people actually are a little bit more in tune, and you know we see it here. People are at bars at like 5 a.m. drinking and shit in whatever country they're gunning for. They're going hard, right?
Yeah, but you know, like
Yeah,
in 15 years after this, 20 years after this, I guess like on
we'll
the
still remember.
scale, this is what I'm trying to say. It's like there's never been a more genius movie plot of all time. You know what I mean? Because it is a movie
Yeah,
everyone will relate to. It'll be like fucking The Notebook meets fucking Titanic meets fucking like Apocalypse Now meets fucking.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It'll be all that. Everybody will,
yeah.
you know, because everybody who lived through this was affected by this shit. You know what I mean? Like Like, they make movies about 9/11. They make movies about what, you know, the fucking World Cup if they want, but it still only affects certain demographics. You know what I mean? This affected everyone.
What's crazy about it though, it's like we already have the movie Contagion.
Yeah.
Have you seen that shit yet?
No, I haven't.
You should watch that movie tonight.
No, I've been wanting to watch it since this shit happened.
Yo, you should watch that movie tonight because you'll watch it and you'll be like, oh my God, that's everything we're going through right now.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's what I've heard.
Contagion.
Pretty
Oh, it's almost like spot on, right? It was very, very, very interesting. I watched that movie like a month or two back and I'm like, oh fuck, I hope it doesn't turn into this, and it's kind of like evolving into it. Fuck. Contagion's definitely, you know, that shit. Yeah, man, it's a good question though. You know what I mean? Like worldwide as a whole planet, but you have to understand there's never been a point in time where the planet was as connected as we are now.
Well,
right? And
that's the other big thing, yeah.
Right. You know, and that's even how, like, for example, the Spanish flu was able to spread so fast when it did, at least through Europe during World War I and, you know, through North America and whatnot, right? But now we're way more connected as a planet. It takes literally, like, news could, you know, get from one part of the world to the next in real time. Like, you know, somebody could be watching this right now, as opposed to back in the day, even in the 90s, they would have had to wait for this to transfer and download, and you know what I mean?
Well, that was an interesting thing, you know, when I took communications classes, even though like I hardly passed every single year because I just used the computers that we had, because we had iMacs, so they had fucking iMovie on them, and they had fucking GarageBand, so I taught myself how to make beats and how to edit videos while in high school by editing my first shit, by making my first beats and making my first YouTube videos. Like that was the start of like me being a producer, being a editing, you know what I mean? All the shit I do now, like, that was the birth of it, you know what I mean? But minus the rapping. But like, I just used to utilize those computers. But the one interesting thing that I took from that class when actually learning about communications was that exactly, when you put into perspective, it's like, you know, you go back 100 years and the information that a person on the other side of the world can receive now, it would have took that person like 5-6 days to receive that information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like it's insane how, like, you know, and then with the telephone things become more, you know, but like just the steps of communication, and like when you really think about like how much we take for granted a phone, you know what I mean? And the ability to be able to just look at a phone and see what's happening across the world right now. It's like that is such a luxury that I don't think people even fucking comprehend having. Like that is like one of the greatest luxuries any human being has to them. And they piss it away every day to use it for fucking memes and fucking
porn.
Fucking
nah, I feel you. I mean, our phones are more powerful, I mean, just as far as the technology inside of it, than the rocket ship that got us to the moon. Right?
Facts.
You know what I mean? And like I use my phone, you know, to like do this and a bunch of other stuff, and like I said, porn or whatever, right? But you can find anything you want.
You really think we went to the moon, though?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah, for sure.
But that video's not real.
No, I think it's pretty much real.
No,
I think it's real.
Man!
The moon landing?
People in the government have admitted that shit's fake, bro.
I don't know, man.
That video is 100% fake. I can't say if they went to the moon, but that video was definitely shot in a studio.
I'm almost sure that is real. You think it was Stanley Kubrick who shot them faking it?
No, not that. See, that's a fucking conspiracy theory. That's the difference.
Well, I mean, that's the name they tossed out.
What I'm saying has probable cause, and you can't really just shoot the idea down. You have to have an opinion on it, which makes it a conspiracy.
No,
but a conspiracy is a far reach. You know what I mean?
But no, what I'm saying is I did watch something on it. And they said the only guy who would have been capable of actually faking that at that time and shooting that for NASA, if in fact it was fake, was Stanley Kubrick. He would have been the only like filmographer with the know-how to have like pulled that off and make it look believable.
2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah, I guess, you know, they tried to say that was his confessional or something.
Man, 2001: Space Odyssey looks more real than the fucking moon landing, bro.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I might watch some videos, some moon landing videos or whatever.
even if they went to the moon, that's cool. I can't say if they did or didn't. You know what I mean? But that
They went at least twice, I think.
100% fake in my opinion. I mean, I have to say 99% fake because I can't say 100%.
Which one? The one where he's coming out of the lander?
Yeah, man. Like they've done like math to figure out like what the gravity would be like and like the way you would walk and like the way they're like, you know, just prompted up like they're on fucking bungee cords in a studio. You know what I mean? It's like, man, that is like the physics have been done where it's like you wouldn't even move like that on the moon. Like the lack of gravity, you would like more like kind of float. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't just like kind of like hop around. Like it's just, I don't know, man. There's so much nonsense, and if you just watch it, it just looks like the biggest. Like you can see the horizon in the background. That's like me,
yeah.
And you seeing the planet's horizon behind me.
Well, I mean, depends what. I mean, shit. I don't know, man. I do not know the science of that at all.
How much smaller is the moon to the Earth? Because it would have
to be like 80 times smaller.
It would have to be like fucking like millions times smaller for you to see the horizon of the skyline in the background standing anywhere given.
Man, I don't know, bro. I'm gonna have to I don't know the science on that. I'm gonna have to look that shit up and
just watch
look
it.
into it.
What I mean, man, it's so cheap.
Yeah, I mean it's possible.
I don't believe that shit's real. I can't say if
it's possible. I mean, people say that there's army bases up there. You know, Russia, USSR, and probably some. Well, I guess it would be just America, Russia, and you know probably like alien or whatnot. But who knows, man? It's the fucking moon.
Like, there's so many satellites in space. That's the thing. They don't even need to push it on the moon because they just put it in satellites and they just
exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like putting shit on the moon's like almost remotely pointless. Even you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can subscribe to the idea that like they shot fucking people up in space and the first time they didn't just explode. Like that human beings on Earth were like, I know the exact mathematics of the universe and fucking put people
have exploded.
Like, we didn't explode. Like,
dude, people have exploded a shit ton of times though. There's been I remember one time when I was I think 4, there was this teacher who was going to outer space. She was the first civilian teacher or something who was going to outer space. And I think it was a Saturday morning or something, you know, and they're showing the launch because it used to be big back then. So, you know, you wake up and you're trying to eat your cereal and shit. All of a sudden they interrupt it with a spaceship launch from Cape Canaveral or whatever it was. And you're watching, you know, and this thing goes up, all of a sudden just, you're like, oh shit, it blew up. I was 4 or 5 years old, man.
But it blew up before it reached the ozone, though.
Yeah, it blew up. It blew up as it was going up. It blew up 6 or 7 seconds going up, right? But there was one. There was one a few years back.
Do you know why it blew up?
No.
Because ain't nobody ever been to the moon before that, and since it was a regular citizen going up, they couldn't fucking hide it. They're like, well, this is a regular citizen. Like, we can't really fucking hide this. So, wish for the best.
They weren't going to the moon though. They were just going. I think they were just going to the space station or something. But yeah, I think there was a gasket or something that something happened. I don't know.
Yeah. But I can't subscribe to the fact that the first time human beings shot people up in a fucking spaceship out of the ozone layer, that they were just able to majestically do the mathematics of what the pressure differences would be and shit, and that the whole craft or just the human brain inside of this craft didn't just explode.
Also, I said monkeys.
Tell me there was no fucking trial and error. They just fucking shot these fools up.
Yeah.
And they fucking landed the first time and were dancing around on fucking get the fuck out of here, man. That's more corny than the fucking Indian in the cupboard. You know what I mean? It's so unrealistic, bro. Nah, man.
Well, I think you know they sent monkeys and dogs and shit up into outer space and had them come back and did the math and started doing little things, sending humans okay, all right, we were here, all right, cool, and then all right, we figured it out, use this much fuel, whatever. Fuck, I don't know, man. It's just this crazy shit. If you think about the whole I think about my great grandma because she was born in 1898 and she died in 2002. So that woman saw airplanes, rocket ships, fucking TV, telephone, computer, internet, all this shit. You know what I mean? That must have blown her mind away. But yeah, fuck, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we didn't go to the moon. I'm saying I could definitely see why people believe it's fun.
Yeah.
Because I believe.
Shout out my dude Trini Tech who said there's aliens on the moon.
Yeah.
But no, the one thing that always trips me out about outer space though is they always say that we can't get past the Van Aldrin belt or something like that. Like there's a particular radiation belt that we can't pass even if we're in spaceships, or we'll, you know, it'll kill us or whatever. Or we can't now or some shit. So there's all types of weird stuff when it comes to space that
Craziest thing in the
we'll
world.
never fucking know. There's
Space
probably
is so
aliens.
true.
I don't doubt that there's aliens.
Do you know what the fucked up thing about space is? It infinitely grows.
Yeah.
What is it growing into, bro?
It's just expanding, I guess, right?
Into what?
One day they say one day it'll
It's
shrink.
like, what the fuck is it doing, bro? Where is it expanding?
Yeah.
It's expanding on something. It's not just expanding nowhere. The universe
No, I feel you.
fucked.
It's weird shit. We'll never know, man. We're human. We're so insignificant when it comes down to it that it's like ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, you think about like even just the planet Earth. We live here and this is our home, but in the grand scheme of the fucking universe, if it disappeared tomorrow, nobody in the universe would know that Earth even exists or disappears, right? I don't think it would matter.
Fuck no, man. It's
Weird shit.
So trippy, man.
It is scary shit. Like it's stuff that, like, when you think about it a lot, like I remember thinking about it one time. I was really, really high. I was like, yeah, man, black holes are crazy. And I started watching videos on black holes and started getting like anxiety attacks. I'm like, I can't watch this shit no more. It's so too complicated.
Fucked, bro. They're so fucked. They just decompose any matter that goes into them and restructures them.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Absolute energy. But in the center of like a black hole, it's just got to be like absolute energy. So it's both expelling and retracting at the same time.
What the fuck is it, bro? That shit is crazy.
The moon is an alien spaceship. Yeah, it's a fucking Death Star. Straight up.
Surprise, man. George Lucas predicted it.
Just a giant Death Star there. Now, you know, the moon, it really helps life on Earth because it like moderates the flow of the ocean and stuff, moderates our orbit and shit, right?
Yeah, the magnetic pull.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Magnetic like pull that the moon has that makes the water rise in the fucking night, right?
Yeah. Shout out the moon.
My shit attract millions like the moon attract the sea.
There you go. Yo, there's a bunch of asteroids that are like buzzing by us over the next few weeks. If you're into like that space shit anyways.
That's cool.
There's like a few asteroids, like this one big one called like Atlas that apparently is breaking up now. But there's like a bunch that are doing near close passes. So yeah, man.
Smoked by a fucking comet.
Nah. Good on that.
I'd rather go out getting hit by a comet, bro, any day.
Then what?
Like getting shot in the street or some shit.
Yeah, but getting hit by a comet means like, you know what I mean? Like you're talking about planetary, or you mean just like a stray, like little small thing just hitting you in the head almost like a bullet or something?
Yeah.
Or like one that takes out the whole planet? Or
like it would kill you quicker than a bullet would, even if it was the smallest piece. But that would just be the sickest way to go out is fucking getting fucking whipped by a fucking
space rock. How'd he die? Space rock fucked him up. Oh, weird. Okay.
Fucking hit him.
That'd be weird.
I bet you when your body decomposes though, and the matter and the fucking energy redispenses into the universe, which is basically what reincarnation is, right? You know, like whatever you are on the other side of that, even if there's just pieces of you in a million different things, all those things would be so kick ass. It's like, yeah, my last life, motherfucker got killed by a fucking moon rock, fam. You'd be the meanest raccoon in the six, bro.
Crazy.
You'd be the most beautiful tulip in the garden. You know what I mean? You just have that glare to you.
Yeah. My previous life, I got killed by a fucking space rock. That's why I shine so hard, shine bright now. Yeah, I guess so. That'd be weird.
That's fucking wild, bro.
Yeah. The whole idea of reincarnation is kind of wild in and of itself, because like, why am I remembering this life right now if I'm going to be reincarnated? Like,
well, the crazy shit.
So it's real shit.
The crazy shit is like I used to think it was kind of a silly concept until I started to understand, you know, like just the simple, like that's the thing. We're fed to believe everything is so complicated, but a lot of things are actually just so simple. Like, yeah, there's complicated breakdowns to everything. There's a complicated breakdown to the way my stomach digests milk, but it's a simple thing. You know what I mean? You can make it complicated if you want, but that's how, like, the whole world is, like, projected to us, like, this complicated thing, but it's really so simple. It's fucking energy recycling itself. Like, energy cannot, you know what I mean? Like, it's also, it's recycling. Like, the earth never loses energy, and it never really gains energy. Like, there's just energy. There is the energy that there is, and everything recycles. So in that sense of just the most simplistic view of the planet, that's what reincarnation is, because everything recycles. The idea of, like, being a butterfly in my past life and this, I think that's a silly, like, you know, like, kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, fairy tale way to deliver the ideology that, like, you're just energy at the end of the day, basically.
Right.
Like, softens the blow a little bit. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So, like, but to me, really, like, that's what reincarnation is. It's the recycling of the energy. You know what I mean? Like, when I rot in the ground, that's not it. I'm not gonna, whatever is, you know, comes of me is not gonna remember being Kelly Maloney, but best believe parts of my energy will be, you know, in the blades of grass, and maybe some will be in this chipmunk, and maybe one will be in, you know what I mean? Like, but that energy
I feel you.
first, you know, so it's like, that is, to me, you know, simply what reincarnation is. It's just not as complex as, once again, people would like to believe, you know what I mean? It's actually a lot more simple. It's just the simplistic fact of life, you know what I mean, in the planet.
No doubt, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, no one will really know until you die anyways, right? So, I mean, even then, you might not even know. So,
yeah, that's,
you know, but yeah, you're alive now, so just enjoy it, live it, love it before you leave it. That's pretty much it.
But before we, you know, I do got to wrap it up in a minute or so, because I fucking let the phone charge before this interview at 9. But one thing I do say, when we come out of this, you know how YOLO was a thing for a long time, and it was like,
right.
After doing something careless or stupid, you just YOLO. I hope we come out of this and we have a new sense of that, and we just say Corona. You know what I mean? Like I was like saying the other day, I'm like, you know, my dog shits on the ground and I don't pick it up. You know, someone look at me like, why don't you pick up your dog shit? Corona, fam.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, I feel you. No, you know what? You know, it'd be really cool if you think about it, man. If we come out of this and it's like, instead of the year 2020, we look at next year as one AC. You know, we had BC, we had AD, and next year could be one AC, and just start this shit all over again with a whole new, you know, very humane mind state. Absolutely. After Corona, one AC. You know what I mean? When was your kid born? Oh shit, my kid was born 1 AC, you know what I mean? Or whatever, right? We can start that over. But I mean, at least if we adapt that mindset and we're like, all right, cool, man, I'm coming out of this and I'm just a little bit more mindful of people and, you know, a little bit more cognizant of helping people out. Shit, man, the world could be ours, man. That's why I'm not worried about any of this stuff. I'm not worried about, you know, whatever fad of the week is that people are going to say it is. I'm more worried about the mindset of where my people are at. I'm more worried about how we come out of this, and like we said earlier on, be a little bit more aware of the downfalls of capitalism, and understand that, you know, how we live has a direct effect on people on the other side of the planet. It's important to understand that. So if we're going to be out here and say, yo, we need to get the economy started and rebooted, we got to make sure that as much as it benefits us, you know, and helps us, it can't just be for selfish reasons like I want to go buy new Jordans or I want a new haircut, when literally people are mining the cobalts or mining the rice fields, or, you know, trying to get that iPhone to you or whatever it is, even that hair dye that might come from India or the hair weave that comes from India or whatever. Those people are putting their life on the risk, you know, they're risking their life too. They're putting their life on the line too, right? Yeah. So we have to be aware of that and stop letting these CEOs be so fucking greedy, and not letting them offshore the production of everything so that they can manufacture something for $5 and turn around and sell it for $500.
Facts.
You know?
Facts.
And we need full-time jobs here in Canada that offer benefits, no more of these temp job bullshit scenarios where people can't actually take care of their family, right? And when it comes to, you know, people that you say are just minimum wage workers, like people who work at grocery stores or work at McDonald's, or, you know, PSWs who obviously make way more work or whatever, these people deserve a lot more respect and should be paid a lot more, because when it came down to this, yo, man, grocery store workers are just as much a hero right now
Yeah.
as your local nurse.
They're the
right? So,
motherfuckers eating right now. You know what I mean? Literally. So.
yeah, even farmers, right? We gotta shout out our farmers right now too. So,
Yeah.
shout out those people, man. So yeah, man. Hopefully we come out of this just with a more empathetic state of mind, and we stop offering up our bodies to the altar of commerce. Stop offering your body to the fucking altar of commerce. It's not worth it. They don't care about you other than what's in your pocket. And when you work for these companies, they will fire you the moment, you know, their shares are down from what they were a year ago, right? And it could just be down $1. And they're going to say, you know what? We got to make cuts, right? They're not going to give you, they're not going to, you know, pay you whatever it's worth. So we need to hold these people accountable.